of the Shamokin Fifth Ward group, which is a Facebook group that I created once I was approached with a video of some local residents who had gone off into the wilderness and decided that they were going to just go dump their garbage. And I took this video, I posted it online, and the reaction that I got from the video was incredible. It was a little comical, but the serious note was that there's an issue. There's a big issue. This isn't just the first time that something like this happened. This is an ongoing issue. So it inspired me to get involved. I'm not affiliated with an organization. I'm a resident. This is my home. This is where I'm raising my son. So this is my involvement in my community. So I wanted to know. I created a survey. I handed it out at a Breakfast for Santa event that we held after we did a couple of community events. I want to know, other residents from my community, what do you want? Is it the same thing I want, or is there something that maybe I'm missing because I have this tunnel vision of what I want for Shamokin? So what I did was I conducted a survey. What changes would help our community? We can change the world and make it a better place. It's in our hands. So we got together and I threw out the idea, what if we did a community cleanup? What if we got a group of people together and went in our neighborhood and cleaned up the garbage? Why not? So we conducted a donation fundraiser. We were on WNEP, we were in the newspaper, and the community came together in an amazing way. We were donated food, supplies, money, and time. 2,200 pounds of garbage was picked up in the Fifth Ward. That's just a small portion of Shamokin, but that's a significant amount of garbage when you think about your neighborhood. So I got this group of wonderful volunteers, and let me add, it was raining. It was not a nice sunny day, it was raining. But we went out there just like when Jen Seidel and Scott Roten got together with us. It's not like, the sun comes out and beams down upon us because you're doing good deeds. You get out there in the muck and the grime, and you do it because it has to be done. So this was our first event that we did, and it was incredible. So again, after this event, I went, okay, what else do we need to do? Next slide. So I put together this survey, and I asked, what are you willing to do, community? What are you willing to do to get involved? Are you willing to get involved? And what changes do we need to do? And I was amazed. We didn't have a huge number of surveys that were completed, but let me tell you, out of the 75-ish, 84% of the people who completed this survey are willing to volunteer. That's a huge number. That says something about this community. The no's, half of those no's, if not more, were people who said, no, because I'm disabled, no, because I, have these medical reasons or other reasons. Let me say something. Volunteering doesn't necessarily mean that you're out there doing the cleanups. There's a job for everyone. You can be the person sitting at the table doing the sign-in sheets. You can be the person who is responsible for handing out supplies. There's a job for everybody in the community. This is our community. Why not get involved? So I wanted to ask questions. What would help make Shamokin a better place? And as you can see, there were so many great answers. I had this vision of what I expected to be the answers, and those are the top answers that we do see. But there were answers that I got from this survey that I wasn't expecting to receive. And that was what I needed to know going out into the community, doing things that I want to put together. What are issues that I might not see in the community? But again, the top three answers that I saw was a clean community, pride in the community, and more strict enforcement for the landlord's enforcements and the laws. So we went out and we, go ahead, sorry. The next question I wanted to ask was, what is the biggest problems in the community? Again, I had an expectation of what I expected to see, but there are issues that are unbeknownst, unless it's something that's happening. One of the responses I got was, people are always parking dead vehicles out in front of my house. Unless it happens in your front yard, you don't realize it. But again, we got a lot of really great responses. And again, the top 3 responses, we all expected this. Drugs, blight and property conditions in the quote-unquote slumlords, and then law enforcement and crime. These issues all tie together, though, with what we're all trying to accomplish in the community. As a citizen, I can't necessarily go out and fight crime. I can't go out and necessarily stop the drug problem. But what I can do is I can get involved in my community and be present and accounted for, and in my own way, push that out. By being out in your community, actively involved, you are making it uncomfortable for these unsavory people to be in our area. A blighted building is an invitation for people to come in and hide out. It is a depreciation of the values in our community. It sends this message of a depression, of no hope. So us in the community are just as responsible by taking care of our own properties to help resolve these issues. So we can say, yes, city, go take care of this. Yes, police officers, go take care of this. But ultimately, it starts as an individual. When you own your property, you're responsible for how it's impacting all of the rest of the community. Next, I wanted to know, what are some ways that we can help stop the littering and the dumping issues that are in our area? Again, lots and lots of great responses. The main thing is we need to restore the pride back into Shamokin that I hear all the time about how this has been such a great place to raise your family. Shamokin used to be such an incredible place, and all of these reasons why we need to reinvent our reputation in Shamokin. It is our community and it's our responsibility to spread this wonderful message of Shamokin is an opportunity to raise a beautiful family, to have a wonderful home. Community service should be mandatory for littering and dumping violations. A fine alone isn't going to teach somebody a lesson every single time. But if you get these people who are responsible for creating these messes out there cleaning up somebody else's litter or dump, they're gonna think twice about it because it might be theirs. I found a meme online that said, it's not my trash, but it's my planet. So I made one for Shamokin. This is actually our group. This is a dump that we've cleaned up. And I said, it's not our garbage, but it's our community. And Danny, where's Danny? Oh. This has got the our little group's slogan, use no better than this. So again, I go back to the volunteers and I ask, what are some things that we can do to help improve our community? What are things that you are looking for in the community? Again, a wonderful list of opportunities for people to get involved with. Not only the community cleanups, but kids programs and property maintenance and other things. People are willing to go out and get involved in the community. They're willing to put in the work. The experience that I'm having with everything that I'm starting to get involved with, and let me state this, I'm new in this. This isn't something I've been doing for years. This is something that when I created this group in September is when I started getting involved. And it has been the community who has been guiding me through all of the accomplishments and all of the efforts that we've done. It's the people who are going, organize this and call to action, and we will come. So again, people are guiding me through this process. When we say, what do we do to volunteer? We do whatever we can, because every little bit counts. The small things that we do, the little impact changes, all add up. And at the end of the day, every little effort, every granule of sand, eventually in an hourglass adds up to hours. It all amounts. So this was actually one of my favorite sayings, is I always wondered why somebody doesn't do something about that. And then I realized I'm that somebody. There are small changes already happening with the group that we've been working with. I'm sure that most people have experienced the Wise shopping carts around town. We went out and we got with Wises and we started rounding up shopping carts. It was actually a very personal issue for me. They were dropping them behind my house where I had 10 of them. Behind my house, had no idea where they were coming from, and to boot, they had trash and diapers and all of this other wonderful stuff in them that was like, who's doing this? So it, again, call to action from the community. We got involved, we got with Wises, we got together and started rounding up these shopping carts. I started making phone calls, sending emails, talking with managers, and next thing you know, this wonderful device shows up at Wise Markets, the wheels lock. You're not going to be wandering off with these carts. So now our efforts are going towards gathering all the remaining carts left in the community to help get that done and over with, out of sight, out of mind. Problem is solved. So Wise has done a great job, though, with helping our efforts to get this problem resolved. So it's nice to see changes are already happening. Shamokin is looking for more opportunity. Shamokin community members are looking for a chance to do things with their families. They want community centers, they want parks and dog parks, they want splash pads and all of these things, which is all possible in our community. It's, again, people getting involved, people speaking up at city council meetings, at different organization meetings. It's getting the word out there to say, I need some more, I'm ready for some more. And that's what we're hearing as part of our group, is the citizens are looking, just like the youth groups, they're looking for more opportunity to get involved. And our hope with the Shamokin Community 5th Ward is to reduce crime through community activities. So again, getting all of these volunteers on a monthly basis is going to be my goal. Doing community cleanups will help get people active and, out in front of people and showing that we care enough about our community to stay actively involved. So the fact of the issue is that all of the answers from the surveys that I received, it dawned on me, everything is tied together. The drugs, the blight, the trash, everything is all tied together. And actually on one of the websites that I did some research on, it said, bottom line is, trash attracts trash, and it is time for Shamokin to take out the trash. So our plan for Shamokin 5th Ward is to reach out with the city of Shamokin to organize and work towards making changes to help improve the community. We want to plan monthly community cleanups. We want to create beautification projects, whether it's planting flowers or painting bridges or other projects, small projects that will help bring some life back into our community. I conduct research to find solutions to many of the issues, and as of late, over the last few months, I've been taking those ideas and proposing them at the city council meetings, which is great to see at the workshops. The city council is following up on all of these suggestions. There is work in progress. There are people working on these problems for us, and it's wonderful to see that you present something and you say, I have a concern, and it's heard. We want to continue conducting surveys to obtain feedback from people and maintain an open mind to the suggestions as to where we can improve, grow and strengthen our community. When I did this original survey, I didn't want to have predetermined answers. I wanted it to be an open forum for people from the community to speak however they choose. The Cole region talk, as they say, is be open, be raw. Tell me exactly what it is that we need to do. And then stay actively involved in the community with events, fundraisers, and other opportunities. On the table I've handed out, we have a fundraiser event coming up at the Texas Roadhouse. I'm a member of the Schmokin' Moose, and we are going to host a Dine for Donations event where they will donate 10% of the bills to the Schmokin' Moose, which they have a foundation for underprivileged children, and it benefits education, in conjunction with raising money for us to help clean up our community, for supplies and all of the fees associated with the cleanups that we do. The message that I want to give to my fellow Shamokinite citizens is, don't give up, Shamokin, the best is yet to come. There is so much happening right now. It's exciting. It's very exciting. Change starts with you, but it doesn't start until we do. I know Tina approached me yesterday, if you are interested in working together with us with some of the cleanup efforts and beautification projects that we are planning for this spring and summer, this is our Facebook group, as well as we have some videos on top of the original videos from some of the cleanups that we've done in the area, so that you can see what efforts we are putting out to help improve the community. Bottom line is this is our home and it's our responsibility to take care of it. Any questions?
Obviously, for those who didn't know much about Cameron and JP's work and all the folks who volunteer to do some of these cleanups, this is obviously the kind of work and kind of thing you want to see happen here, right? This is the real grassroots effort, as well as what will inspire and motivate others to want to continue to do what things that Mary had shared earlier as well, about those who are already engaged in volunteering and being active to help, do their part, if you will. So, questions for Cameron and JP? Any questions about what you heard?
I do have a question. Love the cleanup process, everything else, but what started the blight homes in the beginning? Because we could keep cleaning up and dumping and keep going and going. I like your idea when you said about mandatory community service for someone who they get caught being dumped, or somebody reports these people. I think that is something that would be very positive, because those people then have to do this. Right now, we had reported a dumping, and we were told, well, we can fine them, but they may not pay the fine, and there's nothing else we can do about it. Okay, and that was by the code department. So, I was very discouraged about that. So hearing this, that's great, but these blighted homes, these blighted buildings, who is responsible in the first place to let those buildings get to be that, in that condition? Are they landlords that bought the homes cheap and then rented them out and then moved out of the area, forgot about the homes and forgot about the people renting there, and the people moved out because the places were falling in, and that was it? Who do we make responsible? Because these things are going to continue to happen if we don't stop where it began.
Sure. So great question. Cameron is certainly not the one to answer that.
Right.
She's only been here for a period of time. However, what you're basically is bringing up is one of the key issues that's part of one of the 6 goals, right? There's a topic over here, demolish, clean up, blighted properties. So Tina, you're going to be great for that group, particularly tomorrow when we break out into small sessions to have those discussions about some of that. And that needs to be shared, right? What are people's understandings of how things came about? The obvious one is the economy, right? If you had the businesses, you had the companies, you wouldn't have people having to leave. Therefore, you have a depopulation that plays out. Who's here to take care of the home? But that's great, I mean, that's true, but then there's more to that, obviously, so that'll be something to discuss a little deeper.
I think people have to be held accountable.
Sure, but specifically to the work that Cameron, soon to be Tina, and JP have done, right, in this work. Do you have any questions about maybe what motivated them? And what,
I don't have a
what thoughts
question,
you
but I
have?
definitely have a comment. Since meeting Cami, she's definitely inspired me to use my business and my platform to individually make changes in my community. I've donated book bags to the elementary school and the annex. I've donated school uniforms to the annex and the elementary school. I have a community closet outside of my business where I donate clothes and food, and other people provide things for it. And I try to go out of my way to become a safe space for the youth of the community. Unfortunately, I just don't have that positive reputation yet.
Okay, well,
But she is a great inspiration to just go out and do things on your own.
sure,
There's no reason that you need a group to say we're doing this,
Yeah.
to go out and just do it.
right. Two great messages from you. You know, one is that, and that's what certainly inspired me when Cameron showed up to one of the FAR meetings, just articulate what that is again, Faith Alliance for Revitalization, and shared what she did, which just grew out of her own interest to say, hey, let's try to do something here. Certainly her charism helped carry the day, right? You gotta show some positive energy, she brings it. And then now you sharing about your business. I don't know about your business, I don't know about a lot of business, because there's quite a few of them. But I'd be intrigued personally to go visit your store and see what that's about. You've now provided others here to learn about your personal interest in engaging the community in a constructive way, which ties into Mary's story earlier about what the businesses used to do and had the ability to do. So it's a basically full circle from what you just shared. So thank you for sharing that. Anybody else? We'll come back. Excuse me?
Hi, no. I was just curious, beyond the Fifth Ward, how inclusive is your group? There's enough to do in the Fifth Ward, I understand that. But I was wondering, are you joining with other groups? Are you expanding beyond that? Are you joining forces with maybe Sabre or FAR to expand what you can actually do?
We are, at this point right now, I am, so Shamokin Fifth Ward, the name of our group was to pay homage to my husband's family, who has for generations been part of the Fifth Ward. But we actually, so our efforts go all through Shamokin and then even outside. As of right now, we are just citizens getting involved, doing what we can. Idealistically, the goal would be to actually have our own organization that's driven by basically a needs base, fulfill whether it's the cleanups or the beautification projects or some sort of, we've actually talked about a participation with local residents of disability and senior citizens to try to play a role in assisting with certain care needs there. At this point, because we are so new with our group, I don't want to get over ambitious and say, yep, we're in, we're going to do everything all ourselves, let's roll up our sleeves and then get ahead of myself. But of course, you can't save the world as a single person. It takes a group. So we are taking things very slow. For right now, we are just remaining just citizens that are actively involved in the community. But ultimately, we would like to pursue doing some sort of a nonprofit or something on our own to be able to push our efforts to a bigger scale.
All right, one more question. Judy.
No question, but,
Judy, we'll come back to you. Any other questions? Yes?
I'd be curious how you prioritize what your next project is.
Funny thing, I did a poll on our group, and I asked, again, our Facebook community, where do we need to start? What area of town do you think needs the most attention? And so I've kept this poll going, just as I've kept this survey going, and I still get feedback constantly. So I have, with the springtime coming, we right now are looking at, for March 22nd, a Fifth Ward community cleanup as a maintenance, to go back through our community to make sure everything stays nice and clean and up to date, and again, staying out involved with our community. And then starting in April, ideally, we would like to do the third Sunday of each month having a cleanup based on the importance from what feedback we received from our poll. So I don't want to go in April to go to the biggest dump on, Shamokin grounds, but I am looking at, there are some larger scale areas that do need cleanup, and weather being an issue, I've kind of started with some smaller projects until the weather kind of levels out and I can say we're not gonna get rained out. So April and May will be a smaller venue, I guess you could say. And then starting in June, we would like to go and tackle a big area. So it's being, again, driven by the people of our community saying, hey, did you know that this was a problem? And we prioritize it by that.
Sort of to build on that, it really is community driven. Like Cammie's in the driver's seat and some of us might be in the front seat helping her navigate, but the GPS of this group really is the community telling us when something needs to be done. I don't know if some of you just noticed, but a couple of comments ago, that lady there mentioned that she had an issue, found an illegal dumping site, and code wasn't as helpful as she'd hoped. I don't know if you noticed, but Councilman Scott just walked over and I'm betting he just got the information off of her. And within a month to 2 months, our group is going to tackle that. That's how it works, basically. We hear from you.
Well, thank you, Cameron and JP. Just a couple, we're gonna come back to you, Judy. You're as bad as me.
That's the cleanup.
Okay, well, but still, we're gonna have some opportunity in a few minutes. So, we're gonna move on to our next interactive component.